Welcome, everybody, to a weekday cast of AoE 2 on the unexpected Arabia. Today we are casting some very, very special players, which I have never cast before since I like casting a large variety of players. Near the 9 o'clock position, we have Revisioner in the blue, playing as the Mongols, which is really surprising because I know a little bit about Revisioner as a player, and I very, very rarely see Revisioner play as the Mongols. I happen to know that he typically enjoys playing as teams that are, have a bit more of a meta play, that are a bit more difficult to manage. Teams that don't have like a lot of mobility units. So I'm really surprised to see him playing as the Mongols, but enough about Revisioner. Let's go over to the purple player. We'll actually see if he loses the Rhino before we do that, just to confirm everything's okay there. Actually, I can't even keep up because it looks like purple is going to lame this Rhino from Revisioner, and I have no idea if Revisioner is going to catch sight of this, so there's no time to waste. But what I can say is we, at the north position, we do have the Khmer player in purple who has just slain Revisioner's Rhino, and I have no idea if Revisioner is even going to notice this. So the game already off to a crazy start, as it looks like purple's going to actually have 2 extra Rhinos. Pretty insane. It looks like we have Revisioner's villager going out to look for where the Rhino used to be, and I think he's going to realize that it's no longer there. We'll actually see if his scout is able to do anything about that. It looks like we also have... Revisioner says, I see in the chat, I see how it is. You might be thinking at this point that Revisioner is a little upset and he's out for blood. And based on the previous game that I saw casted on a different channel, that might be the case, as he is trying to get up to the road to 1500. I did check out the elo for our, what we'll call ostrich player over here in the north. And I believe he's only just a few points of elo below at around the 1500 rank. And now that this particular Rhino is gone, I don't think we're going to have a chance of Revisioner being able to lame the one in the north. But, he's a little hungry. He's out here and he's scouting. And this is going to be an interesting game now that purple has, put the cards on the table, as to say, really set the tone for what kind of game it's going to be. Some background about Revisioner in terms of game that he just played is that he is coming off a very salty defeat recently, playing on a mega random match as Spanish, where he fell pretty quickly to a very basic beginner scout rush. Not my words. And some might say that, they doubt Revisioner's skill level. Some might say he's an absolute moron idiot that can fall for just, any basic AoE 2 trick. Now, and that's something I would say, but what I'm trying to get at is that he's out for blood. He's an angry, unhinged PC player who is looking to get some damage. And I think that this lame going on with this Rhino has only enraged him more, as we see that the little bumping and grinding going on from the villagers over here. Not the most efficient berry collection, but, Revisioner not really behind on food, so no reason to migrate or manage it. I think Revisioner is going to have to be forced, which he usually does anyway, to push some extra food and hunt near the TC, which is kind of annoying because you see that the gold pit is kind of like in the way. And might have to push it all the way to the TC or the farm. We don't have so many villagers. Let's look at how we're looking on the timing for purple, who might be going for a fast castle or just forgot to click up to feudal. Okay, now we see him click up. At the time that he did see he was on about 700 food. Revisioner almost there, missing about 30 food. Might need to consider dropping off here just to get the feudal timing up and running. As we see the first hunt come in. Luckily, Little screw up there, but nothing new for Revisioner. So we're both up to feudal, and you have to be thinking if you're playing Khmer, you lame a hunt from your opponent, you got the extra hunt, you'll probably be feeling good if you slow down your opponent and are going up to feudal first. You're pushing all of the hunt into your base. What are you thinking? Now that you know that your opponent's a little bit on the back foot, are you thinking that you want to go fast castle? Are you going to want to go straight into scouts? But furthermore, what are you thinking as Revisioner, as someone who probably knows that they're playing on the back foot? Are you going to want to go wall up and go defensive? I mean, we already know that our opponent is Khmer. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I want to get a few scouts out, right? Looks like Revisioner is scouting around here to see whether or not his opponent has loom yet, which they do. But being a little annoying and no, getting trapped, not the scout. Oh no! Wow, that was a close call. I have to imagine that if we have some kind of BPM monitor on Revisioner right now, that it's probably through the roof in terms of his heart rate. Interesting thing I always see coming in from Revisioner is getting the production upgrades coming in. Might end up being a really, really rude awakening in consideration that our purple player just went castle. Now, you're looking at his base and you're saying to yourself, wait, he doesn't have 2 feudal age buildings. He's only building 1 now. He's already clicked up, but some of you may not be aware that Khmer does not need any building requirements to click up, which is why it's one of those races that people love to use in order to go fast castle. It's kind of hard to detect from, this perspective if you're playing against an opponent like that, if they are going to go up and go fast castle, because it's hard to really scout their buildings to know if they're going to do that, in consideration that you're not going to see the typical blacksmith and market. Really, really defensive and tight build coming in from our purple player, who I'm now guessing more and more as I'm watching this, that they're going for a very, very, very specific play. They have their build already set, quite a few people own gold. And I'm going to guess and imagine that they're probably going to go straight for knights. Some might say that that's super obvious, considering that we only have a stable. But as you know, we do get some beefy upgrades from the Khmer civilization just for having that stable, right? Another nice thing about Khmer players is that when they have farms, they actually don't need to drop it off at the TC or the mill, but they can just immediately drop off just by having a farm in the middle of nowhere. Revisioner does see castles coming in after pumping out these 3 scouts, which are going to put them a little bit more behind, since these scouts are going to cost some food. Now that he sees that his opponent is already in castle age, these knights are going to come out, and this is going to be a huge problem. Revisioner not going to be able to see the siege workshop yet, but does see the villagers coming forward, so I have to imagine he thinks that something is afoot with no walls coming in yet. Now, even with a knight like this, it is possible that we can just micro them a little bit with a few pikes. It's not impossible if you have an army. And now I think Revisioner is going to be able to spot that siege workshop in the north. No, not quite yet, but if he goes a little farther, he should be able to spot it. And these knights actually should not be able to take these pikes in these numbers if he puts the scouts in the mix as well. Does see the siege workshop coming forward. It is up. And the Khmer players are going to have to do more than just 2 knights to make this a successful push. Revisioner already has the scouts out to snipe any sieges that might be queued up for our ostrich boy over here, as we currently see nothing actually queued up yet inside of the siege workshop. So a siege workshop that is currently being battered down by 1 spearman and 1 scout, producing nothing. A little bit of a weird maybe build mistake there from our Khmer player, as Revisioner is coming over here and get some free licks off of these villagers. Potentially, if he micros well, this could make the balance of the game go into the other direction. Honestly, I think that this Siege Workshopper here was a big mistake from our Chimera player. We have a completely open base of farms that he probably didn't see with a few knights, and I think that it would have been a much better decision for purple just to come here into Revisioner's base with has no walls and probably start sniping some of these villagers. We have limited protection here on the lumber camp, so I think purple goofed a little bit on this build that he was trying to go to that was pretty specific when he should have probably just gone straight to knights and made the game even messier for Revisioner. So not a great goof on his part. A little bit too much wood. Could have built some other buildings in the meantime. This was a really expensive investment over here that a Chimera player bought, and it ended up doing absolutely nothing for him at all. Yeah, so really, really big mistake at the casino. We might be able to call this Siege Workshop the like NFT Siege Workshop. It's like something you buy that might have some value later on, and you realize it's actually worthless and does nothing for you. But one thing that I do see that our Chimera player is doing just from out of one stable, really efficient, is continuing to pump out knights. As it realizes that the Siege Workshop was absolutely worth nothing, and now they might be able to get a fight with feudal age pikemen and maybe clean all this up. Maybe not the best trade. I'm not sure why they went in straight for the pikemen. I said, we got a totally open base here that our purple player is not really that aware of. It is true it's going to make it a lot easier for this purple player to come in here to this base. And now that the clear up is over, we do see one battering ram queued up for the purple player, but sacrifice most of his knights to get to this point, not microing the best as his other knight's going to go down. And now we have a battering ram that's taking out the barracks. I mean, a little bit of weird play coming in from Revisioner, but I also think that blue with the solo scout harass is just keeping him a little bit busy. As we see Castle Age now coming in for Revisioner. Revisioner continuing to queue up some more pikes. And like I said, you know, feudal age pikes are not that bad against Castle Age knights without upgrades, right? This Scorpion is going to cause some problems as these knights are probably going to be able to snipe these villagers. Revisioner dedicating even more villagers to the destruction of this siege unit. Also, this building only has half HP, so, you know, we're going to have an interesting time taking it out, but I think that the Siege Workshop, Knight, Scorpion, Villager, whole rigmarole has been okay for both players. I just think that this is a huge missed opportunity for purple to come in and just wreak havoc with the knights instead of sacrificing them to the god of the spearmen as another battering ram comes out just to take out a barracks. I don't think that's a great choice. Like I said, it is free money, so I will give him that. But not sure if it's enough value, as like I said, these knights are going to continue to suffer and go down to the Castle Age Knights over here. Like I said, not a great trade as the attack upgrades coming in from Revisioner, who are going to focus down these knights, and now these villagers might be able to come in and just snipe this battering ram here. As Revisioner finally gets up to castle, and we see more villagers coming forward from our Chimera player to build a stable, a forward stable. Not sure if the purple player is actually aware of this, but stable units are typically highly mobile. What does that mean? It means that if you take a stable and just put it, you know, maybe like 20 meters to the north in your base, that it's not going to have a huge impact on the distance that the stable units are going to travel. But maybe it's here to protect the NFT Siege Workshop. Maybe. As the second barracks does go down, along with the ram from our blue player. So this is a pretty interesting and messy game, and now I think we have a better strategy coming in from the Siege Workshop from our purple player as we see one Mangonel in the queue. That's going to be annoying for our blue player, but as long as Chimera sticks on knights and blue sticks on camels, I think he might end up doing fine. It's really just the timing of when he gets this Mangonel out, as the knights will engage these camels. Are not quite ready yet. Should be some of the pikes now that we have the upgrade, but we have to watch out because the micro here is going to be heavy, and purple, I think he's in a totally yiff Yif, as probably this mangonel is going to go down without getting any damage, no licks, and it is gone. It has gone straight to the damn hell, to quote MTV. And Purple turns his tail and runs. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but what do you guys think about my commentary on this forward stable? Yes, it is continuing to pump out knights, but after they come out, they're going to get like a fresh punch in the face from these camels. I don't honestly think it really did anything to put this forward stable in here. It was a little bit weird, to be honest. And it looks like our purple player, despite having seen the camel composition coming in from our blue player, is going to stay on knights. I don't see any other kind of buildings coming in other than houses. Farm economy is going pretty well for him, as we see 19 on food compared to 17 on Revisioner. So how's the population going for the villages? We do see 54 coming in from purple, so the eco is going pretty well for both players. I think it's anyone's game at this point. Also, the knight mass is getting to a bit of a worrying level. As I said, I think these knights were honestly misused a little bit, because if you recall in the beginning of the game, we saw Revisioner making the game a little bit messy by taking his scout cab and going back here, sniping a little bit, causing some havoc. And that's honestly what purple should have done at this point. But now he's going to be forced to take some fights here with knights against camels. Camels that already have one attack upgrade, while purple has no upgrades to the blacksmith yet. I don't even think he has a blacksmith. No, there is no blacksmith. We're just going full knights. That's it. The siege workshop, the NFT siege workshop is down. It is officially down. Speed upgrade coming in from the infantry from Revisioner, as these knights are literally coming in to counter units. Pikemen versus camels. I mean, that's not the best fight, right? Revisioner, on the other hand, now getting even more counters against knights, bringing some of the monks forward. Love to see that. The knights turn tail and run. Really well played from Revisioner at this point. And are we thinking about a castle coming in soon from either player? I think that might be the next play for one or the other, especially purple. Because if he's not able to change up this composition, it's going to be a really, really rough game. But like I said, one thing that purple does have going for them is that the knight mass is going up. But blue continuing to counter by getting another attack upgrade for his pikemen and his camels. So I don't know what's going on there, or what the strategy is. Purple coming in to snipe the monk, but going to end up taking some trades, as some of these knights are going to probably end up going down. Looks like we started off at 14, and now we're at 10, 9, 7 knights. Not the best trade, but Revisioner just get cleaned up a little bit as well. But like I said, this is not like the best trades you want to be taking, as more monks continue to come in and start to try to convert these knights. And now Revisioner, who might be a little bit out of military, we only have 1 monk and 2 camels on the field, 1 pike goes down, might be running into trouble now with these knights. This is pretty annoying. Would like to see a few more production buildings coming in, as Revisioner does have enough wood for it. More attack upgrades coming in for the knights, and now we have problems for Revisioner, as the villagers are probably going to be pretty easily sniped. If not, it's going to be really, really annoying for Revisioner to manage, hiding these villagers under the TC. But what do we have here? A snaky TC on the right-hand side coming in from Revisioner. Love to see that. Khmer player has no idea about that. But Revisioner does still have problems back at home. The knights coming and continuing to raid. And I think he should have kept that going, to be perfectly honest. Like, these knights just running circles around the base, not attacking, could have found a lot of good licks on this gold, this wood. Granted, it's difficult to micro. Okay? I get it. I'm not perfect at it either. I'm not the one playing this game. So it's really rough. It's rough like a dog. Okay? Oh my god. Purple coming back in for the barracks and the forward siege workshop, which Revisioner probably does not see, does not have any vision on it. We'll be able to see if purple is able to get even more licks on Revisioners and Cypress buildings. By the way, I don't think the ram is the best play to come out of the siege workshop. Now that we have some more pikes on the field, I think a mangonel might make more sense as these knights go around the outside, looking for more damage coming in. Purple, looking around the base, maybe on auto scout, or looking for maybe another base from Revisioner, as the knights are going to take a fight on this left TC over here. But I repeat, these are knights up against like not the greatest composition in terms of what you want to be fighting. Looks like we have Run Ram in the queue coming in from the purple player, which, you know, is a bit annoying. I admit, not the worst play, but Amengenon I think might do just a little better to force fights out of these camels and pikes, right? Revisioner dedicating a little bit to stone here in the front, taking the risky stone. As we see our first ram come out that is going to fall flat on its face in consideration that it has no protection, right? And we all know that having no protection is a huge problem. So now we see purple a little bit on the back foot as you see the military unit count going from 24 to 8 in Revisioner's favor. I believe Revisioner might be able to come through, and if he finds some really, really good undefended portions of the map for purple, he should be able to go to town on this one. Obviously, he's not aware of some of that production in the back. But at any rate, he's going to be forcing fights out of these knights against camels that, as I said, already have their 2 attack upgrades coming in. So, yeah. I think there probably was a little bit more steam left in purple, but as I said, there's a lot of mistakes in this game coming in for him. The first time we had the first NFT Siege Workshop, we had the second one. The Ram driver was probably saying to himself in that game, like, what the hell am I doing on this job? You can imagine that, like, you know, the mayor of the TC is like, get me 1 Ram and send it straight to the TC, facing down an absolute army of villagers and knights, thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life? Why did I sign up for this? You know, I think a lot of people probably think that knights is like the end all be all. And to be honest, like, it could have been. It could have been in this unwalled TC area if purple had just come in and, you know, made the game a little bit more messy. Revisioner actually did some really, really nice plays at the beginning, just making sure he keeps our purple player distracted with the first 3 scouts in response to a fast castle. So really well played by him.